holding microphones in her hand, and we're in a hotel together, just down the street from where Kamala and Joe just went to work. We just saw them on CNN.
Right. They just walked into the White House.
They just walked into the White House, which is right there. We came to Washington, D.C. to bear witness to the end of the Trump administration. We saw Marine One, your taxpayer-funded aircraft, fly over the Capitol where we were with Donald Trump in it and took him away to Maryland, where he's put on another airplane and then taken down to Florida.
Just a wonderful moment.
And it felt like the fulfillment of this guy has got to go became a reality. That's when that guy left. That guy's gone. This guy is gone, is what we get to say today. It is now 3:32 in the Central Time Zone, where we both live, 4:32 on the East Coast and other times in other places of the country. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the president and vice president of the United States. The only one probably happier than us is Mike Pence. That guy looked as happy as they come when he was finally done with this nonsense that he was, a co-conspirator and partner in. All right, so we thought today, while we were standing outside the security barriers, and I was mumbling out loud and saying out loud a number of times, "Hey, Donald Trump, nice work. I love what you've done with the place. You've turned it into the military death hole that we all worried the American Capitol could someday become." And in 4 short years, he did away with democracy. Mm-hmm. Actually, I mean, in some ways you might say 8 weeks.
Yeah,
since the end of the election. But we thought we'd record one final, this guy has got to go. And Rob had a great idea.
We're going to do the top 10 most absurd moments of the Trump administration, because so much has happened over the last 4 years. So many really terrible things have taken place. But today is a day for celebration. Today is a day for a little bit of laughter.
Yep.
And so what we thought we would do is laugh a little bit. Laugh a little bit about the most absurd things that have taken place, because we just began kind of reminiscing.
I thought you were about to say we be jamming.
And we be jamming. We began just reminiscing a bit about, hey, do you remember when this happened?
Yeah.
And it felt like we just kept one-upping it with the most absurd things. And so I sat down and made a list of the top 10 most absurd things that have happened during the Trump administration, and I came up with 20 things.
So you sat down and said, I'm gonna make a top 10 list. It became 20.
And then I texted my sister about it, who is a big This Guy's Got to Go fan, and she sent me 5, 6, 7 more things that weren't even on the list. That might be on the list now because they were so fantastic. I couldn't believe I had forgotten about them. There's so many amazing things. So I thought what we'd do is we'll do a little honorable mention, and then we'll do a top 10.
A top 10, great. And I feel a lightness.
Oh, I sent my wife a text from outside the Capitol when Joe Biden was inaugurated. And listen, you know this about me. I'm not a huge Joe Biden fan.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
I'm not a big Joe Biden fan at all. But I just sent my wife a text that just said, "Deep exhale."
Yeah. Because
that's what it feels like. It's just like,
yeah. Oh. And you also said out loud, he is a good man.
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 Yeah. And for another conversation, you had this great line where you said, I wasn't pulling for him to be president, but he's a good man and I'm glad he is. And I thought about all the people who really wanted Donald Trump to be president, but they had to say just the opposite. Yeah. I want him to be president, but I know he's not a good man.
Yeah.
So it just feels good to me that the lightness of Donald Trump's just not choosing to live up to the potential to be a good person that's in him.
Yeah.
He could have been a better person, but he wasn't. And now it doesn't matter. Because now he's just a former president.
He's a former president, and we can just laugh about
this guy. Unbelievable. Now, somebody's got to clean up his mess.
Yeah.
That's the American citizenry. That's the governments around the country, all the state, local, and federal agencies. but we can have a little fun because it is c'est la vie.
That's right. So here we go.
I don't even know what it means.
Here we go.
But
The
it's c'est la
top
vie,
10 most absurd moments of the Trump administration, the Trump presidency, honorable mentions.
Oh,
Because we got to give you the honorable mentions.
all right.
We'll just fly through these.
I love it. And I also just love
Okay.
for those that are on the live stream, this ramshackle room.
Yeah,
that
we're here at the Hampton Inn. Okay, so here we go.
All right.
Honorable mention.
And just to be clear, I don't know what any of these
No,
are yet,
no, you
so
don't.
this will be fun, just like
Yes.
the listeners.
Yeah,
This is-
I actually am
breaking the
am
third
making
wall.
sure you
Okay.
can't see this. So here we go. How about this? Honorable mention. Shoving the Prime Minister of Montenegro at the NATO summit.
when all the leaders were coming out and Trump was late, as he is off to do, put his arm on the guy, pulled him out of the way, stepped in front of him, and then that guy went like, "Well, all right, okay, big bulldog, okay, big boy, all right, mister." I mean, just what a catastrophe! How happy do those people have to be?
Oh, they must be
Every
thrilled.
world leader.
World leaders all over just thrilled that Donald Trump is
All
no
over
longer
the
president. Okay, here's an honorable mention. The love affair with Kim Jong-un. At first he was, and it was really a love affair because at first it was like he's, the little dictator. What do you
Yeah.
call him? Little Kim
Little
Jong-
Rocket Man,
Little Rocket
Little Rocket Man.
Little Rocket Man.
Which, look, I think adults calling other people by derogatory names is childish. But if you are a nickname giver,
Mhm.
the way George Bush was,
Yes.
some of these Republicans,
Yes, Brownie.
but yeah, it gives Brownie a little nickname. Like, just gave everybody little nicknames, like Mr. Ponytail Man or whatever. Like, it can be endearing and kind of clever and fun to make you smile. Even though Trump was mean, still was sort of like, okay, little Mr. Rocket Man.
Little Rocket Man.
I mean,
And then goes
God.
to North Korea. And do you remember what he did in North Korea? He saluted a
Yes.
North Korean general.
yeah, he didn't even know that that's not what you do.
No, you don't salute a general from
salute.
another country.
Especially one that you're in a Cold War with.
Oh, goodness, so
No, he
hilarious.
was such a bad president.
Oh, okay, another honorable mention. Rudy's terrible, no good, very bad week.
The whole thing.
Oh, there was 1 week where Rudy Giuliani had
This was after the election.
worst week of all time. He was in the Borat movie, pulling down his pants with a alleged 15-year-old.
Tucking in his shirt. as he
Tucking
would
in
say.
his shirt. He had the Four Seasons total landscaping situation.
Which, just to be reminded, they said they were going to do an event at the Four Seasons.
And for those of you, our faithful viewers of This Guy's Got to Go, yes, I did get my Four Seasons total landscaping T-shirt for Christmas.
Because it's actually a landscaping place that they mistakenly identified, not a Four Seasons hotel.
Yes, and then that very same week he had the hair dye
Hair dye,
incident. Oh,
Hair dye,
Rudy's terrible, no good, very bad week.
I do think Rudy might have another couple of weeks coming that are going to be just as bad, but we'll see.
Another honorable mention, and it's unbelievable that this is an honorable mention. Space Force.
They did start another branch of the military and then called it Space Force and then made the logo look exactly like Star Trek. Like, everyone involved must have been saying, and I have literally heard people, like defenders of Trump, try to defend the idea that
It's a terrible idea.
that we needed a separate sub-branch, which is the other thing that's funny, is it was always a sub-branch of the Air Force, which was like, at one point, a sub-branch of the Army. A separate sub-branch just to deal with outer space.
Yep. Here's another honorable mention. Do you remember when they tried to humanize Donald Trump by having him call kids at Christmas to...
Yes, and he said to that kid, you don't still believe in Santa Claus. You don't still believe in Santa Claus, do you?
You ruined Christmas for a 7-year-old.
You think the list of people that said Donald Trump ruined something for me? Mike Pence is like, my life. Rudy Giuliani, my career. I'm literally like, my pillow, which I used to really like, and now I fall asleep.
You have a My Pillow?
Oh, I have a My Pillow.
Oh.
Look, it's a Minnesota brand, and I love my Pillow. I'm loath to give it up. And then this poor 7-year-old kid is like, oh, and he ruined Christmas.
Okay, and here's another honorable. These are just honorable mentions. Donald Trump boarded Air Force One in the worst possible way as a president of the United States. He boarded Air Force One once with a piece of toilet paper stuck to his shoe.
They can literally have a guy to make sure that never happens.
And then, do you remember when he did not hold the umbrella over his wife and then just dropped the umbrella outside?
He's just the montage of him not helping Melania.
Oh, and speaking of Melania,
and look, she is showing her true colors as not being a very fine person. There's not a very fine person on either side.
You have a whole Melania section of the honorable mentions.
There's not a fine person on either side.
I don't care. Do you?
Yes.
Is this the worst?
Jackets,
this is the worst idea in the history of First Lady fashion.
Yeah.
In the middle, and what was happening then?
She was flying to the border to see about the kids in cages. Wore a jacket that said, "I don't care, do you?" Which she said was about people on social media saying bad things about
the Christmas decor, like a European hellscape. Just brutal. And the whole like every montage of her refusing to hold hands with him,
slapping his middle.
It's just fantastic. It's just the best. Oh, listen,
I'll tell you, I'm no fan of Melania Trump.
Oh, so fantastic. Listen, also on the honorable mention list.
Oh wow, we're still on that.
Yeah. Man, woman, person, camera, TV.
I want to show you the shirt because we made a shirt. Vote Common Good made that shirt.
I love wearing my man, woman, person, camera, TV shirt.
TV. Like when he was literally having to say, "Of course, I passed the test that they give to people to see if they have dementia." the president, while in office, was tested for a mental cognitive deficiency that caused it, and then he came out and bragged lied about it, and then said they give you 5 words, and what did he name?
The stuff in the room around him. Well, there's a man, there's a woman, person, camera, TV.
He didn't name the things from the test that he said I could remember. He doesn't remember what those were. He remembered the things that he was currently looking at. Okay.
Here's another one in the honorable mention list.
Wow.
It is one that people probably don't remember because it happened early on, but it's so hilarious. Do you remember the glowing orb in Saudi Arabia?
No.
You don't remember the picture of him with his hand on the glowing orb looking off in the distance?
No, I don't know if this came on the list, but you saying looking up like that. I remember him looking at the sun during...
It's on the list. Don't jump ahead, Doug.
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember the glowing orb. Oh, see, there are so many absurd things that we don't even remember some of them.
Like literally, John Goodson is just, or Woodman is just writing here. I think John Goodson is watching our little live stream. But John Woodman says that the whole presidency has been some awful sitcom. Like, if this was a Veep episode, all these things we've just mentioned, they would have been hilarious. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that this man is so chaotically dangerous and now truly just shows his...
You don't remember this picture?
No, I'm looking at the picture right now. So somehow I never saw that picture.
Please, folks, Google Trump glowing orb in Saudi Arabia. It's amazing. It's amazing.
What just so glad his hands are off of everything to do with
all right,
federal
the
government.
final
Oh, wow.
The final honorable mention.
Okay.
The Tulsa Super Spreader event that was totally destroyed by the TikTok kids.
That he got beat by the TikTokers. That they signed up.
Fantastic.
And that they scheduled that event originally on Juneteenth.
Oh, so fantastic. And we can't laugh about this, but sadly, like Herman Cain died because he attended that event. It killed Herman Cain. I mean, 10-10-10. It's off.
Let's just take a moment and say, of the 13 people that Donald Trump had executed this year, in addition to those people that he has killed,
Herman Cain was one of them.
He killed Herman Cain.
But that was because he was destroyed by the TikTok kids. So fantastic. So
that is one of the better stories.
He expected 60,000 people there because the TikTok kids had all reserved. They had a stage set up outside for overflow because they were expecting so many. They were expecting so many people, and it was all because the TikTok kids had reserved tickets, and none of them were going. Oh, fantastic!
So
those are the honorable mentions.
How many was that? Was that 10?
That was 10.
That was 10. The 10 honorable mentions.
Yeah, here we go. Top 10. You ready?
Okay, and now this is even going to get.
This is the top 10. Okay. Ready? Number 10.
I am.
The number 10 most absurd moment of the Trump presidency. The inauguration crowd size scandal.
Yes.
It all started at the very beginning with Sean Spicer going out.
Sean Spicer out there in his ill-fitting coat.
To say who's the biggest inauguration.
On the Tonight of 4 years ago. Yes. Sean Spicer had to go out and say, look, would it be very clear? There were more people there at live and more people around the world. Because their argument was more people around the world watched it because there's more people around the world. That's
and
one of the
literally
things.
There's pictures demonstrating
yes.
that the crowd was not that big. Now listen, we could say this. Donald Trump's inauguration crowd size was bigger than Joe Biden's.
It was by a magnitude of size.
But it was still the second smallest one ever.
Maybe George Washington's.
And you know what the crowd size debate gave rise to? It gave rise Size Gate. It gave rise to tiny hands. It gave rise to the whole the introduction of the phrase alternative facts.
That is where she raised the idea of alternative facts. Like, well, you have those facts and we have alternative facts.
Kellyanne Conway used the phrase alternative facts for the first time in response to the media outcry about Trump's administration claiming that their inauguration was the biggest ever.
And literally, like, you think about this, the obsessive way they doubled, tripled, and quadrupled and 5-timed down on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
they would not give it up.
They wouldn't give it up till this day.
Yes.
He's still, I've heard that, in the first 2 years, he would walk people through the White House, show them pictures of the inauguration, and argue with people. Like, people would say, no, I was at Barack Obama's. No, it was bigger.
Oh.
Like, the level, okay, yeah.
Number 9.
Okay.
Number 9.
I won't comment. I won't do commentary.
Oh, no, it's
on
fantastic.
The real problem with them.
Yeah, no. These are all illustrations of real problems.
Yeah, it's true.
Number 9.
Okay.
The number 9 most absurd moment of the Trump presidency, Infrastructure Week.
And if you don't know why that's funny to some of us, because for 200 weeks of the Trump administration, they said,
this week's going to be Infrastructure Week.
Yeah.
We're
highlighting Infrastructure Week. They never once launched an Infrastructure Week.
Yes. And what it does is it illustrates the absurdity of the Trump administration. And we had this conversation earlier today about how they still haven't released their healthcare plan.
Yeah.
Like, this was an administration that made all sorts of promises about policy, about actually solving problems. Like, the infrastructure of our country needs to be addressed. And they did not address it. they simply said, oh, we're going to have Infrastructure Week. And every time they scheduled Infrastructure Week, some like big scandal happened.
That Donald Trump caused.
Yes.
When you go back and look at what caused the interruption of Infrastructure Week, it was, for the most part,
Yes.
Donald Trump doing something ridiculous.
Yes.
To sabotage Infrastructure Week.
Number 8, the most absurd moments of the Trump administration, the Trump presidency. Number 8, throwing paper towels in Puerto Rico.
He was shooting them like a basketball. Like, he's there to do what a president should do.
Yes.
To express the sorrow and the commitment of the federal government, and he turned it into a
youth group event.
It was like Thursday at youth camp, skit night.
Throwing paper. Listen, this island that is full of American citizens has been devastated by a hurricane. Yeah. And what are you doing?
Yeah.
Throwing paper towel?
In a funny way with the crowd, trying to have a bunch of fun with them. Yeah.
Just the worst.
He did throw paper towels.
Number 7, most absurd moment of the Trump administration. Sharpie Gate. Do you remember Sharpie Gate?
Yes.
Sharpie Gate was when Hurricane Dorian was bearing down on the United States, and Trump claimed that the state of Alabama was in the path of the hurricane and would need to take precautions as a result of that. Alabama was not in the it was not in any path for Hurricane Dorian, and so Trump sat in the Oval Office with a big map
that was given to him by the Weather Service.
Yes,
that said, here's the
path, and he drew a little circle around Alabama.
He like extended it out
with his own Sharpie.
With his own Sharpie, and then said to people, See? It was in the path. This is the information I got. Everybody's like,
you drew that.
You drew that on there. No, I didn't. Show me your little fingers. Show me your little fingers. His little fingers have black marker on them.
Number 6.
He starts sucking on them trying to get the...
Number 6, most absurd moment of the Trump presidency. He looked at the eclipse.
Yeah.
He looked at the eclipse.
Speaking of the eclipse, this thing is eclipsing.
He looked at the eclipse.
Yeah, he went out and put the little glasses down and then squinted. It squinted as if, what's the matter?
You know,
like
it was
he was a third grader.
It was at that moment that we should have known that he didn't trust the scientists.
Yeah, that was the point. It'll burn your eyes out. Oh, that is hilarious.
Everyone said, don't look at the eclipse.
Yes. It's the one thing, like there's 2 things you know about the eclipse. There's a sun and something gets in front of it. The second thing you know about an eclipse is don't look at it. Don't look. There's only 2 things.
He looked at the eclipse.
Like he, like me, when we were kids, there was this eclipse. You had to go out and make a box with a shoebox,
yes,
and cut a hole in it, and then like see the shadow of the eclipse and he goes out there in the White House and stares at the eclipse.
He looked at the eclipse. Oh, the number 5 most absurd moment of the Trump presidency. He suggested that we should buy Greenland. And listen, I gotta say, I have been a vocal and adamant Trump, never Trumper. I have been opposed to the president completely. I gotta say, I might be on board with buying Greenland.
You think you can pick that up for a bargain?
Yeah. I don't even remember if he was able to pull that off. I might be on board.
You might be okay.
I mean, granted, it's so colonial.
Do we buy countries? Like, is that the way countries acquire other countries? They buy them. To whom do you pay? Who do you pay when you're going to buy a country? You pay that country?
It's like,
why did he want Greenland? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. Did it have something to do with Russia and like the Arctic Circle or something? Access to the North Pole? Who knows? Remember. Oh my goodness. He wanted us to buy Greenland.
He did want us to buy Greenland.
Oh, so hilarious.
Okay. What number are we on?
We're on number 4. The number 4 most absurd moment of the Trump administration, the Trump presidency. He served McDonald's to the Clemson football players in celebration of the national championship. You imagine, you are a football player. You play for a major university who wins the national championship. And one of like the real perks of doing that is being invited to the White House.
Yeah, it's bad enough that when you get invited to the White House as the Clemson football team, that's the racist in chief is the president. You have to go to Donald Trump's White House.
But like that's an honor. That's a thing you tell your grandchildren. He served them McDonald's. And it was Big Macs and filet of fishes. Yeah. Fillets of fish.
Which tells just somebody who's eating McDonald's, it doesn't carry well.
No, that's true. Can you imagine
they got to order 80 services.
How early that had to be delivered to the White House?
Yeah.
It was sitting there for a very long time.
It doesn't keep well.
If you don't eat your McDonald's within 5 minutes of picking it up from the drive-thru, it's that's the fries. There's nothing worse than cold fries.
Right. And you do wonder if he thought, it is my favorite meal. Because I've heard this. And it's his that in Kentucky Fried Chicken. Mm. Now, is the one on there where he had the tacos? Because I guess that was before.
That was before his presidency. Yes, when he ate tacos at
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah,
Cinco de Mayo. He is food offensive.
Yes, he is.
Just another thing the man has ruined. Because of his COVID treatment, he's ruined hugs. You can't have a hug anymore. He's ruined pillows. He's ruined Christmas. He ruined McDonald's.
Yes. Number 3, the most absurd moment of the Trump presidency. Donald Trump suggested that we should inject disinfectant into our bodies to defeat the coronavirus.
Hey, I've heard it works on surfaces. What if you got it inside the body? He's looking over at him, and he can tell that Deborah Burks, is looking at her shoes, and the other dog is like shaking his eyes. So he doubles down as Trump does. He's like, what if we just experimented with this? Like, just got it.
Yeah, if we can inject some light into you.
Yeah, shoot some light in there. See if that would get rid of the.
Literally, people died from drinking bleach as a result of that.
Well, this is where I realized that the cult was what the cult is.
Yeah,
that these people take what he says and they do it.
They do it. All right.
Other than vote for him.
Oh, my goodness.
They didn't do that.
The number 2 most absurd moment of the Trump presidency. He got COVID.
I don't know if you can laugh. He himself so mismanaged the very pandemic that would ruin his legacy and damage the tens of millions of people's lives.
He got it.
And he got it.
Oh.
And then made Secret Service people ride in a car with him while he had it.
And recorded those ridiculous videos where he was trying to show up. Do you remember the story about how he wanted to wear a Superman t-shirt and open his shirt on his way out of Walter Reed because he had defeated COVID like Superman, and his staff had to convince him not to? Of all the things his staff convinced him not to do.
And that's just one we heard about. Wait till all the rest of these come out.
Till the stories are told.
Yeah. Once he's broken, dead, and gone from the political scene, wait until people tell the stories about the other things they stopped this man from doing. There is no way we've heard all that this guy
just
tried
scratching
to do.
The surface.
And someone stopped him.
He got COVID.
Oh,
so fantastic. Are you ready for the number 1?
I'm ready for the number 1.
I feel like we need a drum roll. The number 1 most absurd moment of the Trump presidency. Covfefe.
What is Covfefe? Is that what he's talking about?
You just said, what is
The guy from the UN?
No, it was the middle of the night when he tweeted Covfefe.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I don't do Twitter.
Covfefe. Covfefe.
Yeah, he just wrote random letters and sent the tweet.
Oh, it was amazing. It was the middle of the night. What is he doing? What is he thinking?
Yes.
Did he fall asleep mid-tweet? What did he intend to say? What does this mean? There was hours and hours and hours of contemplation and pondering about what does this mean, Covfefe? And what it was his random use of Twitter showing the absurdity of his presidency.
As far as we can tell, he wasn't sending a message to the QAnoners.
No,
they went crazy about.
Covfefe.
Covfefe, I didn't even remember. I remember him sending a tweet that had no...
Covfefe. And maybe Covfefe was the most important tweet he ever sent. The Twitter presidency is summed up. The Donald Trump Twitter presidency is summed up, in my mind, by Covfefe.
What do you think Joe Biden's first tweet as president was or should be?
He already sent it. It was about how he was gonna
get to work.
Get to work. Yeah, like a competent, kind, human being would do.
I just think he could have written, as the president, and because I get to use Twitter, I hereby say I will now get to work. Well, I'm glad Joe Biden's getting to work. I'm glad that, it does strike me that maybe, just maybe, and I don't want to be obsessed about Donald Trump. I want to be done with the man. I want him out of my brain. But there's still an impeachment trial. Mm-hmm. He could still be banned from public office.
Absolutely.
It might be this guy has to never come back episode of this guy has got to go.
Yes.
Well, hey, if you've followed along in this, means that you're willing to watch things on the internet. So we should tell you that in 2 hours from now, Vote Common Good will be having an inauguration celebration and party with all kinds of friends from the Vote Common Good world. So come right back here, join us on this. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, go back and watch what we recorded on inauguration night, January 20th, day one, the Biden administration.
Woo-hoo.
Do you think on the 11th hour with Brian Williams, he's going to say day one of the Biden administration, the days left until the next election, like he did about Trump? That will be interesting.
Wonderful.
But we don't have to. So, hey, this guy's got to go. That's our podcast. And true, I got to go. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching 33 minutes, we hope, of some celebratory fun. Bye.